It is better for you to come directly to our face and mock us. Let's know that you're actually mocking us instead of creating something that you literally know that will definitely affect a lot of people. It has no longer been news that a lot of black folks, a lot of Americans, not only black folks, even some white folks are actually saying they are going to boycott Christmas, boycott Thanksgiving, boycott a lot of things, not spending their black dollar, putting it in their pocket for other things that they feel like, okay, it's going to be more important to them. And we coming back and seeing this, carrying, doing this type of advert is an insult to a lot of people. I'm not the one that is saying it. That is what people said. So that you will not be like, oh, Sonia, you're the one that is saying that is an insult. I'm not the one saying it. But maybe I will just allow you watch this video. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. And yes, with that being said, let's dive right into this video so that you can also see with your eyes. Let's go, guys.
And if you've seen this year's Mariah Carey Christmas commercial, you will know exactly why there are millions of people right now calling to boycott Christmas. You see, a few days ago, Mariah Carey dropped her It's Time Christmas video, and it was specifically part of a major holiday ad collaboration with Sephora. The ad features Mariah as a holiday angel whose Sephora haul was just stolen by an elf. This elf of which claims that the elves are striking this year, which many has reference to the many worker strikes throughout America. These strikes often regarding to the unfair working conditions that many workers have to face, alongside unfair wages, especially in the Christmas period. And as a result of this, many of you are now saying that the ad is tone deaf, given the current socioeconomic pressures that many of the working class is having to face right now. Not to mention, many pointed out that referencing elf therapy while real workers struggle with wages, benefits, job security is nothing that should be celebrated. And if anything, it's directly mocking all those who choose to boycott and strike the very system that is suffocating them. Some are even arguing that the ad turns festive tradition into a corporate cash grab, leaning heavily into merch and brand collaborations rather than actual Christmas magic. Whilst others are saying people are reading way too much into it and should just take a break. But what do you guys think? Because at the end of the day, for a lot of people, this is not just about Mariah Carey, is it? It's the fact that every single season, every single holiday, inevitably gets bought out.
Mariah is the personification of the commercialization of Christmas. And that ad was corporate propaganda dressed in glitter. Sitting up there trying to make boycotting look silly and telling us that we're just a bunch of grumpy elves quitting the holidays. Sending the message to the consumers that they own joy and that we're gonna fall in line just like they know we will. Yeah, that ad was tone deaf and strategic. Oh, you ain't seen it? Roll the clip, honey.
Halloween sleep, but now it's spill the tea. Who's the thief?
Busted! Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell. Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking it. Christmas, it's canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Any last words?
Yeah. It's time!
Can we not?
Yeah, because let's not forget, Mariah is the soundtrack to capitalism's favorite season. So Sephora knew exactly what they were doing when they picked her for this ad. Trying to shame and guilt trip people into spending money this season. Acting as if being economically conscious makes us joyless and silly. This is why I said stop telling them our moves. Stop giving them a play-by-play. Stop giving them start and stop dates. Why are we waiting until the 25th? Why are we stopping only after a week? Like, come on, y'all. Because this is what they do. They watch. They see it. They're up here. What y'all think they got social media marketers for? And managers who's in the TikToks and seeing what's going on in consumer business so they know how to plan ahead. I told y'all they were going to do this. I told y'all if y'all gave them dates, start and stop, you give them the plan, let them know exactly what's coming, they can plan for it. And that's exactly what they're doing. They go on and they make counter marketing campaigns just like that. If our movements are going to hit them where it hurts, which is their wallets, they have to be unpredictable and they have to be sustained. There cannot be an end date. It cannot be a one-week performance. This has to be an ongoing lifestyle, y'all. I need y'all committed, just like Mariah's committed to that old tired gig she got. It's time for real change, y'all. What they are not understanding is that canceling Christmas is not about canceling joy. It's about refusing to let joy be bought and sold back to us by them. We will still be celebrating community, love, music, rest. Most importantly, rest. But we're not going to feed the machine and we're not going to feed the system. We're going to be feeding into each other, building into each other, supporting each other through this bullshit ass timeline we're living in. So let's not be shocked that Mariah did this Sephora ad because a millionaire gone millionaire, a billionaire gone billionaire. We already know this. They not like us, and that's okay because we don't need them to be. To them, we may look like silly little grumpy elves canceling the holiday seasons, but what we really are is going to survive through the struggle one way or another, helping each other hand in hand, uplifting each other, and digging into community to build outside of the commercialism system. So let them go ahead and run them ads. We ain't forgetting what the mission is. And we are not moved. We will not be spending a motherfucking dollar, okay? And y'all trust and believe this is the first of many of these ads we are going to see coming out.
This is a long one, not a short one. So baby, buckle up. This is essentially a 7-section breakdown of this ad. I needed to break it down into 7 sections to understand all of the things I was feeling while watching it. So with that said, let's roll the clip.
Halloween sleep, but now it's spill the tea.
Part 1, product placement. So they start off by focusing on the table where there are products placed, all luxury items. I saw YSL, and I might or might not have seen some Jimmy Choo. Whatever the case, at this time in this economy where people are fighting between food and healthcare, a little bit out of touch, don't you say? Section 2, the theft.
Spill the tea. Who's the thief? Busted.
The elf immediately being identified as the thief just didn't sit right with me, because why is the hell, pun intended, the first person you look at when something is missing? Classist much? But this isn't even the worst part. This is just where the ick starts. And from here, we're going to dive right into section 3, the script.
Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell.
It was eerie to me and starting to get a little cringe when he began with, "We're going on strike because of the way you treated us last year." I don't know about you, but the American people have been treated pretty badly this past year. So it feels like there's a direct correlation to current times and this dialogue. Now let's dive into section 4, intentional marketing.
Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking.
He's resorting to stealing so he can afford health care. And that doesn't feel coincidental or like a mistake. As we very well know, marketing is an intentional business. You want to build something that resonates with the masses and the general public, something that attracts all kinds of age groups, especially in a commercial where it's Mariah Carey. And the message that I received from those few lines is that he works for an employer who lives in a gigantic mansion, who doesn't pay a livable wage, and also does not want to provide health care. Does that sound familiar? And maybe I am big tripping, but this feels like corporations are spitting in our face and calling it rain. Our government is currently in a shutdown that began well before this ad was released, currently fighting between food stamps, SNAP benefits, EBT, and healthcare. And you guys didn't take a second to think, hey, maybe this messaging is problematic for what we're sending out there right now. Maybe this is not the right time to have this messaging. Maybe. And one of my biggest issues as a whole regarding part 4 is that the people in the rooms that are creating these marketing campaigns are so out of touch that they didn't even think there was a problem with this ad. Or they did it on purpose. They wanted us to see it. Let's go on ahead and dive into part 5. Christmas is canceled. Roll the clip.
Christmas is canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
I'm very self-aware, so I always try to keep in mind that there isn't a perpetual boogeyman chasing me. But this messaging just felt off. So my first instinct is to feel mocked because everybody's aware that a lot of us are planning to do a blackout boycott for Thanksgiving weekend and possibly the rest of the holidays. So this feels like, yeah, I'm going on strike. Ha ha ha. What? Based on your script, they are on strike because of mistreatment, low wages, and no health care. This isn't funny. It feels like corporate America is literally just like, haha. And while she is saying all of this to the elf from the comfort of her mansion, let's dive into part 6. You can't cancel Christmas.
You can't cancel Christmas. Any last words?
And this is where I continue to think that they're laughing in our faces because what do you mean I can't cancel Christmas? And the entitlement that it's coming from. Again, messaging. We are trying to cancel Christmas because all the vile things that corporations are doing and the vile things that our representatives are doing against us. And y'all think it's cool to make fun of the fact that we plan to boycott the holidays? It's almost like you're calling our bluff. Newsflash, it's not a bluff. As we step into the last and final section, please soak in the next clip because it has so many layers.
Last words? Yeah.
I felt so fucking crazy watching this the first time. Like I watched it maybe 10, 15 times because I couldn't shake off the feeling. You mean to tell me that in a room full of people, you thought it was a good idea to turn the working elf, who is clearly not being paid a livable wage, who is clearly not able to access health care, you turned him into a snowman against his will so you could force him to work through the holidays? What? I don't know. I might be mistaken, but isn't that what's happening to federal employees right now? They're being forced to work against their will without being paid. Corporate America, what's going on? And I'm really trying to decipher what the actual message is here, because if it's coming from me, you either are trying to tell us that we are slaves to capitalism and these holiday celebrations, or you're just calling us slaves and saying we're just going to do whatever because we're sheep. I'm not sure what the messaging is. But how did an entire room of people miss these 7 points? Unless it was intentional and a declaration of war against the people in America, which I don't know if you guys have noticed, has been going on for a very long time. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments.
Somebody need to tell Mariah we good this year.
It's time!
We boycotting. People ain't hearing us, but they will.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Watch us.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought the Mariah Carey It's Time Christmas video was weird, at best. Like, not to be a Debbie Downer, but that whole elf portion of the video is very strange, especially considering the context that we are operating in. Like, love Mariah Carey, love the whole like, oh, she's de-thawing, November 1st is time, Christmas, woo. Love that, but I don't like the fact that they villainized an elf that specifically has lines in the script where he's saying, we're striking because y'all put us through hell last season. And I'm taking this thing of yours to sell it to afford therapy in order to deal with the hell that y'all put us through. And then subsequently is turned into a snowman in response to that, to save Christmas. Like, what? Am I missing something? Like, what the fuck? And look, I'm the kind of person where I'm not necessarily looking for things to be upset about as I'm going through my day, right? There's a lot to be upset about
trust. I know. But I have to ration my energy. So I have to clock things and keep it moving in the ways that I can to continue to function, right? Right. And focus on things I can control. But let me tell you, this particular thing bothers me enough to come on here and say, hey, y'all, this is concerning because of how subliminally targeted it is. I'm like, whoa. You also have to consider the process of producing something like that. Like, whether it be for a company, an individual, whatever, there's a whole process to pull together a video production of that nature. You have to do the like scripting, you have to do the storyboarding, you have to do like, there's so many pieces that have to come together in order to create something like that. And for the scripting in particular, and the concept to be that the villain of the story that's stopping or canceling Christmas is the theoretical like working class elf that's saying, hey, I'm upset, and is trying to steal from the main character in order to afford payment of health services because of the results of that exploitation is kind of crazy to villainize so explicitly in a video that everybody pays attention to now because of the cultural collateral around her having this like huge piece in Christmas because of her music. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here thinking that Mariah Carey is the one that like, I mean, maybe she's, I don't know who's behind this video, but I just thought that was so blatant. And when things are like this are put into contexts that are supposed to be centered around joy and happiness, and it's like in a very intentional way, when things like this slip in there, I'm like, oh, y'all ain't slick.
All right, so we've all seen that new Mariah Carey commercial, right, with the elf? Yeah, where the one where she defrosts for Christmas while they all dance around pretending like life's all perfect. They are laughing in our faces. People are barely surviving, and these corporations keep shoving fake cheer down our throats like we forgot what the holidays used to mean. You've got families choosing between rent or gifts. Parents are maxing out credit cards just so their kids don't feel poor. People are working overtime in November already, while ads tell us to slow down and enjoy the season. Nah, you enjoy it. We're too busy trying to afford it. They turned Christmas into a marketing campaign. The lights, the music, the magic, all built to make you spend more money that you don't have on shit that you don't need to impress people who don't care. And then they have the nerve to sell it back as tradition. Like joy has a price tag now. I don't hate Christmas. I hate what they've done to it because it used to mean something real. Now it's just another sale. So here's my message. Stop playing their game. Don't go broke trying to celebrate in a system that doesn't even let you live. Don't buy another thing you can't afford until life itself feels affordable again. Because until then, every dollar that we spend is another vote for the same system that's bleeding us dry.
Don't be mistaken. You should be uncomfortable by the Mariah Carey Christmas commercial because your faves take every moment to remind you that you are a dollar sign to them. You're a fan of them. They're not a fan of you. They're not standing in solidarity with you. They want to make sure that they keep their millions, if not billions of dollars. That's why every single time you see them, they come back with their hand out. You didn't notice that? Every single time you see your fave, they are never standing up against fascism. They are never standing up against, having some kind of race or class solidarity where they can, rev the people up to fight the system. This is why I hate to use him as an example because he was abusive, but this is why James Brown was considered such a problem. There used to be a time where artists really had a stance, and the way that they supported the people in exchange for, I give you my music, I give you, this entertainment, but also in exchange for you giving me your money, your time, you coming to my concert, you get the voice, you get a sounding board, you get to be able to use my platform to get the voice of the people out. People have sold out so much so that your faves can come to you every so often and ask for a tour, get their money, and then disappear. You have no standard for them. So when you get upset about a Mariah Carey doing a commercial, she doesn't have to care, because what is she going to do if the fascist regime takes over? She's a millionaire. She's going to go wherever it is she can. None of your faves will be in your corner. They are going to take your tour money, your ticket money, the money that you spend on their perfumes, their underwears, their clothes, and they are going to take that overseas someplace where they can be safe and their family can be fine while yours burns.
The Mariah Carey Sephora ad is a counter-marketing campaign. Now, over the past year, companies have been able to see exactly how effective boycotting can be. And with the whisper of a Christmas boycott on the horizon, you can bet your behind that Sephora and other large companies are going to try and come out ahead of this. One of the ways to try and dissuade a boycott is via counter-marketing campaigns on behalf of the companies that may be facing said boycott. Now, obviously, when people are faced with choosing healthcare, food, or luxury goods like cosmetics, they're going to be choosing healthcare and food. So, cosmetic companies would be easy targets for a boycott in the midst of a recession. Now, we also have to understand that marketing is very, very intentional. Even simple words like the and go through a multitude of passes before they even get approved to go to commercial. So everything within that commercial is highly intentional, including the elf having to steal luxury goods and pawn them to afford healthcare. The message the ad is stating is clear, that you cannot opt out of consuming for the holidays. You have to. And they leverage Mariah Carey in communicating this to us, in which she says, "Elf boy, you can't cancel Christmas." And then she shrieks and turns him into a snowman like an evil witch. And this is an interesting choice in a counter-marketing campaign. Usually, when a recession is on the horizon, counter-marketing might look something like, "Don't boycott us, we'll give you extra discounts so that you can afford our products even when economically strapped." Or it might say things like, "We're going to donate XYZ amount of dollars to food banks," and things like that. Sephora saying, "F you scrub, get good," is a fascinating approach, especially when you consider the history of makeup and luxury cosmetics, because luxury cosmetics is one of the few luxuries of the working class that will be kept even in the middle of a depression. Depressions usually signal a huge economic boom for cosmetics. So they're taking what should be a slam dunk and just throwing it in the garbage by saying F you to all of their working class consumers, especially by providing a working class caricature within the elf. It's maybe I'll do a longer video on it, but yeah, it's fascinating watching this choice from the Sephora marketing department. Anyway, looks like there's a new company to add to that list, isn't there?
Sephora really said, "Fuck you." Have you seen their new ad? So it features Mariah Carey doing her somewhat iconic "All I Want for Christmas." However, in the ad, it is stated that Christmas is canceled because the elves are striking. And the people who are striking are blamed for ruining Christmas. Reminder that strikes are how we all got our rights in the workplace. They were then shown holding bags with makeup, saying that they were going to sell them to afford elf therapy, which once again just seems a weird dig at the general consumers. And listen, go watch it. I'm not just gonna replay the whole thing. Go watch it yourself. But in general, when I watched it the first time all the way through, the only thing I could think of was the Pepsi ad from several years ago with, I think, Kylie Jenner, where she like crosses the protest line and brings like joy to the world and it ends all strife with a fucking Pepsi. It's just tone deaf is what we're saying. The jokes fall flat given the severity of the political climate. Read the room. Christmas isn't canceled because people are striking. People can't afford Christmas because they've been laid off and their wages haven't risen.
Sephora is scared. They're really fucking scared. They are so scared of this Christmas boycott. They would have not ever put that advertisement out poking fun at the boycott if they were not terrified that this boycott is happening and it's gonna fucking work and it's gonna fucking tank their numbers. They are terrified. Just look at Target, right? Target pulls back DEI. A huge portion of their shoppers stop shopping there, and you can see it in the numbers. Now, Sephora is terrified about this Christmas time boycott, because that's when they make a majority of their money. I mean, the retail stores are the busiest in November and December. That's when they make their money. If they're scared that consumers, a large part of their consumers, are not buying anymore, number one, because people just can't afford it because the economy is in shambles and like people aren't eating now, but also number two, because fuck Sephora for that ad. I mean, I haven't shopped at Sephora in probably, about a year since the election and like the whole Good United app came out, and I found out that Sephora supported the orange turd. So I haven't shopped there in a while, but like, that's a big deal. You have now alienated a huge portion of your shoppers. They only did that because they're scared. If they weren't scared, they would have ignored it. They're fucking petrified. And here's the thing. While I'm going to be boycotting and not spending anywhere near as much money as I would spend on a normal Christmas, I also have a young child, and I'm going to make Christmas magical for him no matter what. And I also know that I need a little fucking joy in my life. And like, if advent calendars and Christmas bring me a little fucking joy, I'm going to be spending a little bit of money. But I am going to be so beyond cautious about where I spend my money. And you bet your fucking bottom dollar not any of it is going to Sephora, or anyone for that matter who did something like that or supports something like that or supports the orange turd. But we can shop local. We can shop at stores who are doing the right thing. We can share with neighbors. We have options. I'm just saying Sephora's fucking scared. Clearly, something we're doing is working.
Bitch, they're on to us. They fucking heard us. They know that we plan on boycotting Christmas, the holidays, and plan on protesting on Black Friday. The reason I know that they know is because they just put it in Mariah Carey, the Queen of Christmas's new fucking advert for Christmas for Sephora. What makes it worse is they have an elf stealing, saying that he's boycotting because he can't afford to do what the fuck they want him to do anymore. In a Sephora commercial. Bitch, roll the clip. I'm telling you, they know. And the fact that they put it on full display to play in our fucking face only proves that they know. Roll the clip.
Halloween slayed, but now it's
Watch this.
spill the tea. Who's the thief?
Busted!
Listen.
Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell. Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking it. Christmas, it's canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Any last words?
Yeah. It's
That shit is not a coincidence. Pawning all of this to pay for therapy? Mariah Carey's response is that you can't cancel Christmas. Bitch, we're canceling it. Spread the fucking word.
The Mariah Carey Christmas ad is giving Facebook Marketplace because it was tacky as fuck. Celebrities don't give a fuck about us. They don't care. They only want what they can sell us and how much money it's going to bring them. Anybody saying it's not that deep is a non-thinker, because they're basically saying we're going to get your money with or without your consent.
Child, at this point, anybody can get it. And apparently, Sephora needs to be made out to be a believer. As my grandma would say, fat meat is greasy. They can get it just like Target. So maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't, but Sephora just dropped their holiday commercial. Baby, but it's giving disrespectful, out of touch, and rage bait. Let's watch a snippet.
Halloween slayed, but now it's spill the tea. Who's the thief?
Busted! Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell. Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking it. Christmas, it's canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Child, cause first they leaning into this stereotype of stealing and pawning Christmas gifts. We already know who they was trying to talk about. And then they have the nerve to play the song All I Want for Christmas Is You. This song is supposed to be about love, about not wanting material things for Christmas, right? Y'all, corporate America thinks we're stupid. Yeah. Playing right on in our faces. Here's the thing. Sephora knows exactly what they're doing. They know folks are boycotting. Boycotting Christmas spending, boycotting consumption culture. They know. The commercial is essentially saying, baby, we getting our money regardless. Don't nobody care nothing about y'all little boycott. And child, it's a consumer war. And they're betting on one thing, our short-term memory. They know we're going to walk into those stores and smell all the good smells and the music playing. And we're going to hear Mariah Carey's song and Boys the Men, Let It Snow. And forget that we said we wouldn't shop because we still need to go to the stores. So they're counting on us forgetting. But baby, we need to stand on business. Right now, TSA workers are not being paid. Social Security in jeopardy. Folks can't eat because they have literally stopped SNAP benefits without a care. And they over here making commercials like it's cute. Baby, this ain't cute. And they're using the elves as the American working class. Overworked, underpaid, and tired. And we are. And that ain't a joke. And don't even get me started with these celebrities. I made a post a few weeks ago talking about where they at, what they're doing. They have some of the biggest platforms, and we've made them rich. And somehow, they have been radio silent. Meanwhile, since I asked the question, I guess Mariah Carey answered the call. She's just trying to get that annual bag. She made it very clear. I'm getting the bag regardless. Y'all, we got to stand on business. The most powerful protest we have right now is with our dollar. Baby, we're not putting these companies in the black. So we're taking the black out of Friday. We're spending time, not money. We celebrating our love, not labor. Because this year, y'all, we got to say we putting ourselves first. But baby, close them wallets. Because consumers need to stop consuming. Because these companies are playing in our faces. And it's time we remind them. Baby, we see you. And we ain't buying it. Y'all with me or not? All right, black folks. Drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. And mind your black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time with your money in your pocket.
The internet is doing that thing where they're like all mad about one thing at one time, and right now it's the Mariah Carey Christmas ad with Sephora. A lot of people saying that like this is intentional, this is their way of trying to break a strike, and like, you know, they're doing this is all like some big diabolical plan. I don't think that's the case. I think that we have to be honest about the teams that are behind making some of your favorite campaigns. I'm going to be honest, marketing has a major diversity issue. And a lot of the people in a lot of those rooms, both in-house and agency, all come from the same backgrounds or very similar backgrounds. I think marketing has a race issue. I think it has a class issue. I think that it has a lot of issues, right? And I just think that maybe some of the teams in those rooms did not think about how that might sound. So I think a couple of things start to happen. I think one, there's not enough diverse voices in the room. Two, I think the voices that are in the room that are diverse often feel a lot of pressure to stay quiet out of fear of retaliation, out of fear of getting fired. And in this economy, marketing teams have been cut drastically, completely gutted. And so a lot of those checks and balances that normally exist, a lot of that red tape, I don't think it was the best copy in the world, okay? But I think we're doing this thing where we just discourse without nuance. And we're trying to sensationalize it to the point of like, I don't know, infinity, so that certain people on certain apps can get attention. Frankly, just wish that people had this much energy directed at Amazon or Shein or Facebook or Twitter or anything else, because wow, isn't it amazing when we all come together and use our collective voice? Cheers.
I want to know who's in charge of the marketing and advertising for Sephora. Because did you really think that was a good idea to make the It's Time commercial with Mariah Carey? Did you think that the strategy that you went with, coming out with the elves saying, didn't you hear Christmas is canceled, we on strike? You got jokes. You got jokes. Do you really think that's going to work out for you? Did you read the comments? I bet you're going to disable the comments soon. I bet you disabling those comments, because those comments are calling for something. Them comments are calling for something. And Sephora ain't it. No. Sephora isn't it. You see? Because now they're really not going to be shopping there for Christmas. You see what you did there? You see what you did? You wanted to make this kind of commercial for a selective crowd, not knowing who your demographic is. Okay? So, the universe is going to bring to you what you put out there. And that's what you decided to put out. You thought that was a good idea. Okay, we'll see how that works out for you. Maybe read your comments, read your demographic. You could have used a different approach. You could have said some of the sales or a percentage of the proceeds are going to go to families and shelters. It's going to go to food pantries. It's going to go to DV families. Like, there were so many ways you could have marketed this, and you chose that. So you drew your line in the sand, and we see where you stand. And you're going to see where we stand, okay? Ya tu sabe.
Sephora is under fire for their very tone-deaf commercial that they did with Mariah Carey. And they know, they see the backlash because apparently they've turned their comments off. So they know exactly what they did. So they dropped this commercial with Mariah Carey where she's doing her signature, "It's time for Christmas," but her voice cracks. And she's like, "Okay, guys, what's going on?" And the elves are basically like, or the elf is like, "Oh, we're striking this year. You didn't hear?" And people are taking it as, them mocking or trolling people who have decided to boycott, Black Friday shopping and Christmas shopping this year. The commercial was corny, period, but they are definitely, mocking the people, working class people who have decided, you know what, I'm not fueling this. I'm not spending all this money on Black Friday. I'm not spending all this money on Christmas, fueling the economy when the economy is not fueling us. We already know that, we've had the No King's Day protest. People are calling to boycott because the government is in shambles right now. Our economy is not good. So why would we spend all our money on Black Friday, Christmas shopping to fuel the economy when the economy is not fueling us? Okay, SNAP benefits are under attack. Medicaid is under attack. Grocery prices are through the roof, and nobody cares. There's nothing being done, right? And so they decide to make a commercial to mock people who are boycotting, and say, "Oh, the elves are boycotting too." It just wasn't cute, and it was very tone deaf. But I've noticed, here recently that companies do controversial stuff on purpose for publicity. They want people talking as I'm talking now. Like, they don't care. They'll take the bad press and then they'll apologize later. Like, they don't care. They just want to be talked about, right? Especially in the beauty industry, you always see makeup brands come out with, terrible shade ranges. They get dragged and then they're like, "Oh wait, look, give us a second chance. This is what we're gonna do." Send a bunch of free makeup to, people of color. This is their MO. And on top of being tone deaf, I feel like it was kind of elitist. It's kind of like Mariah saying, "Don't be like those woke brokies. Come shop here." And people like separating themselves, feeling like they have access to something that others don't. So don't be a loser. Don't be broke like those people. Come shop with us, right?
Mariah Carey, middle finger to you in perpetuity for this. So she chose to be in an ad where this elf is going on strike for Christmas. And there's a whole backstory that's real sick and weird. And this ad is designed to mock anyone who's like boycotting Christmas or who's like, "Hey, human rights, maybe I shouldn't spend my money on a fake holiday." And to me, this is really an example of how the axis of evil will destroy the memory of anyone, because now when I hear your songs, bitch, I'm changing the channel. And like everything you've done somehow is ruined by this. Because why did Sephora and Mariah Carey think it was a good idea to mock people? It's also like there's a very low level embarrassing part of this ad where this is actually for people who like refuse to boycott or do anything to change our lives. We're like, "But it's Christmas, like let us just have one nice thing." Like it's to make them sort of feel better and be like, "Haha, those people who want to boycott things, like they're so silly." This is about human life, about human rights, about constitutional rights, about saving humanity. You make a joke ass ad. Also, all I want for Christmas is an anti-capitalist ballad, no? It's about someone wanting only one thing for Christmas, and that's love. Not tiny objects from Sephora that are plastic indoctrination items to make women more beautiful. Air quotes. Basically just litter that makes people happy. And that's fine. I'm wearing, you see me, I would never shop at Sephora, so it's not a problem for me to boycott them at all. Mariah, it'll be harder to do that for you, but I will do that now. Like, it's crazy how you can ruin your memory with one action. I've reposted the actual ad so you can see it, but yeah, it's pretty dark and sinister. They make fun of people going on strike and they make fun of people boycotting in the commercial. And I know, from what I hear, everyone looks forward to her. Like, it's time. Like, you desecrated the memory of your Christmas song. It's also just crazy. Like I said, they call up these people whenever they want, like, "Mariah, get on here. We need them to not boycott Christmas. Tell them to buy things." Because, like, why did she do this? She doesn't have to do this. I would think she doesn't need the money. Maybe she does. Maybe she's an overspender. She could literally make an ad out of anything. I feel like she was threatened to do this. And that's more my overall point. Because anyone would have told her, like, no, that doesn't go with the song. The song's about love, not consumerism. Ooh. The point is, there's no one the regime will not sacrifice.
I hate when people are like, oh, it's just not that serious. No, you actually just don't have the critical thinking skills to understand why something might be important, even though it's subtle. So now that we're on the topic, let's really talk about Mariah Carey's Sephora ad, because literally, what the fuck was that? Firstly, I want to point out that All I Want for Christmas Is You is actually literally, quite literally, not about materials. It's about literally just wanting to spend time with the people or the person that you care about the most. It has nothing to do with wanting materials. Yet somehow this ad does the exact opposite. And it's a dig at consumers for boycotting all these corporations. I don't understand why they needed to do that. And as someone that works in marketing, I'm actually genuinely confused on how many meetings this was able to make it through. And I think it's really just rage bait, the same way that American Eagle did it with the Sydney Sweeney ad. I think it's really fucking weird. Like, I understand in the social media world that rage baiting works, and I definitely expect that from people online. But the fact that big corporations are doing this is so ridiculous. Like, having Mariah Carey kind of dressed up as an angel and then having the elf be like the thief. This is a class war, and it's right in front of us. And y'all are on here coming back talking about, oh, y'all are just too woke. Y'all just consume shit, and that's really the problem. You guys having no thoughts and no opinions and being all la-di-da is like literally exactly why we're in the situation of our nation right now. But it's not that serious. It's everywhere. And all the content that has been coming out, it is shifting. It is shifting in a bad, horrible way. And they had the elf be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take all that. Not only did he steal all this stuff, but he's going to take it and pawn it so he can afford health therapy. This fucking play is about us. Yeah, it's fully about us. And y'all just sit up and say, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. Like, they're not trying to do all that, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. I feel like y'all discredit how smart these people actually are, how smart these corporations are. They know exactly what they're doing, but you'll just sit up and consume and be like, la-di-da, and nothing matters. And that's exactly why we're in the predicament we're in today. With the state of our nation, it's because people think it's not that deep. Continue to think that if you want.
This annual Mariah Carey It's Time video in collaboration with Sephora is actually much more devious than you think it is. First of all, the depiction of the elf as a welfare queen, like a flippant worker who just complains all the time about his conditions, is just so nasty, right? Especially when the elf said, we're striking because y'all put us through a holiday hell, and I'm pawning off this Sephora that I'm stealing from you to pay for my elf therapy. It's like essentially what they're doing here is making fun of the complaints that working people have about the conditions they find themselves in. Like, they truly view working class conditions as a joke. They think this shit is a game. And it makes it all the more evil when you look at what they do in real life. Because I'm looking at this post that came from My Perfect Union in 2024, and it says Sephora made $10 billion in revenue last year. $10 billion. And they rewarded their employees with cookies. With cookies. So essentially, in 2023, Sephora made $10 billion in revenue and rewarded their employees with cookies. And obviously, the workers were upset about this. And 2 years later, they make an ad with Mariah Carey where they seem to be making fun of the exact same workers who got mad at Sephora for giving them cookies when they made $10 billion in sales in 2023. Like, do you not see how evil this is? Corporations like Sephora will steal its workers' surplus values, bar them from the means of production, and then make fun of said workers when they rightfully complain about the conditions that they find themselves in because they don't own the means of production. Their surplus value is being stolen from them. Sephora made $10 billion in sales in 2023. You think their workers received even a fraction of this money? Like, this is wicked as shit.
So for the last 5 years, people every year anticipate the day after Halloween for Mariah Carey to do her little It's Time thing for Christmas. This year it's receiving a lot of backlash, however, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the commercial starts out, because it is a commercial now, it's an ad. The ad starts off with her saying that Halloween slayed. No, it did not. I don't think it's a slay when people are having to hand out ramen noodles instead of candy this year, so they can ensure people are going to eat. Macaroni cups, Capri Suns, water bottles. I don't think that was a slay. Then we move on to the elf who is going to pawn her Sephora makeup because he cannot literally make ends meet. It sounds like Mariah Carey represents capitalism. We are the consumers, and we're working rather hard this year to make ends meet. And let's not forget about the fact that she started this trend in 2020, where the economy was at its peak, and then it moved into the pandemic. And even then, the economy was doing really great. Small businesses were excelling. People were doing great. There were jobs. Everything was good. Now we're into 2025 and not so much. And then the elf says that he has to get health therapy, and that's why he's pawning her makeup. Sounds like a play on the fact that health insurance costs are going to increase this year because of the administration and everything that's going on right now. So to say the least, the ad was very insensitive. A lot of people found it very weird. And it just seems like they were saying, if nothing else, we don't care if you have to work your fingers to the bone. We don't care if you have to DoorDash, Amazon Flex, get overtime, get a second job. We don't care if you have to chop off your arm and sell it. Make sure that you buy what you have to for Christmas this year. Make sure that you are investing and you are overindulging in consumerism, because ultimately the world would not, billionaires would not make money without the little people. It's crazy because people are like, oh, little people depend on the government so much. Poor people depend on the government so much. But billionaires depend on consumers. And this is exactly the depiction of reality of consumerism versus capitalism.
Sephora just made such a bad mistake. Oh my god, so they made a commercial with Mariah Carey, and it's basically like they're making fun of everybody boycotting. They're like, Christmas is canceled because of the losers. I can't believe that passed through all of the like different layers to go to commercial, because if anybody knows anything, like Max Factor was made during the Great Depression. Makeup is one of those things that like during a Great Depression, like it can pop off and you can really have that one thing, the only thing that makes somebody feel good about themselves, and it's a red lipstick, so they're gonna buy it. Not at Sephora. No. I think you know what we need to do, babies, especially us millennials, we need to bring back the hipster indie makeup brand. This year, why don't you go shop at Sugar Pill, Trixie Mattel Cosmetics? Literally, we're bringing back the independent makeup brand, because I will never be stepping foot in Sephora again. I haven't been in a Sephora in like at least a year. The last time I was there was when I was getting married and I was picking out new makeup. I didn't buy anything from Sephora though. Babes, your foundation's like $80. Your foundation is the same price as Lyra Clinical's foundation that is mostly like high quality ingredients. And you made that commercial? You really think that we don't have Ulta or literally anywhere else? I want Sephora to become Toys R Us. The Toys R Usification of Sephora is about to happen.
A lot of people were actually not finding that funny. Honestly, even when I saw those videos online, I was actually not finding it funny as well, because a lot of people in America right now are going through a lot than seeing that kind of nonsense advert as far as I'm concerned. And this is for you to know that this celebrity don't have you at heart. Take it or leave it. They don't have you at heart. Like, you are not in their interest. Like, you are not, it's not even negotiable. Like, they don't even care about what you go through or what you do not go through. The only thing they care about is their pocket. Give me the money, I'm gonna do the job for you. Because if this season that a lot of people are looking out for, okay, let's boycott and see what good can actually come up, instead of you as an influencer coming out to do a video that will actually make people see reasons on how they can actually get a lot of things done this Christmas, you're coming out for you to do it is time. It is time for Christmas. And so what? Is it that we don't know? Don't we know the calendar? Don't we know is it the first time we are celebrating Christmas? Has Christmas not been what we've been celebrating? Why do you have to remind us that it is actually time for Christmas? Are you literally just mocking us as far as I'm concerned? Because if it is not mockery, then I don't know what this is. Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel like this is actually a pure mockery coming from her, saying it is time for Christmas. And if you watch that advert very well, you can see when she was also saying that, oh, you don't need to boycott Christmas. Oh, we don't need to boycott Christmas. What are you doing to improve our lives? As an influencer that we have actually been contributing to your life as far as I'm concerned, what have you really sat down to do for people this Christmas? What are your plans? What are your plans in reaching out to the orphanage? What are your plans in reaching out for people that were actually on SNAP benefit and a lot of their benefit has been taken away from them? What are your plans in making sure that every single person should not be sad, especially your fan base? You see, this is literally why I honestly do not really I do not really go into this thing of, oh, this fan base thing, because at the end of the day, I feel like these people are literally deceivers. They just want that thing that belongs to you. The moment they get it, the moment they are able to lay their hand on it, that is all. And that is one thing I've seen about this lady too. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, because this is the time for Christmas that you just did now, on it's not just a good one. It's not the brand that actually Sofara, or what's the name of that brand if I'm not pronouncing it very well. Sofara actually know what they want to be. They knew that they were going to be losing a lot. This time around, a lot of people are boycotting Christmas, and that is why they have to now bring you as a face celebrity, bringing you as their god, and trying to like using you to like convince a lot of people. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And yes, with no further ado, I'm going to be saying bye now. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.